Actually, you know what? Sorry, before I get into that, there's something I've been wanting to talk about. I was going to make this a video. I might actually clip this out and turn this into a video. This has been something that's been on my mind, like this past week. I'm tilting this down so I can actually be able to do this properly. I am very, how do I want to start this? I am very disappointed in Steam right now. Not necessarily as like what they're like any nefarious practice or anything like that, and I don't even think that they're doing anything on purpose. It seems to me that this is more of they're ignoring something, and it's regards to Steam NextFest, which is, if you don't know, Steam NextFest is usually their big sort of festival that they do on Steam, where a ton of games are either announced or have demos out or are set at like a very steep discount. And they do several of them a year, and this is the first time they're doing it for 2026, right? They're currently doing it right now. When I went to go take a look at games that I would want to try out, because we tried to be able to play these on stream the other day, trying to find games that have accessibility tags on them was extremely difficult, and almost basically became to the point where you have to just click on a game and hope that there are accessibility tags, or that like whether A, it's like the developer decided to add it in, or B, added it into the demo. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I understand that sometimes, you know, it takes education for developers to be able to make sure they can add accessibility tags, because they are there on Steam. If you don't know, Steam actually does have accessibility tags that you can, as a developer, you can be able to sort of self-police or self-identify your game with several accessibility tags, and they give you sort of like a wizard type setup when you're in the back end of Steam for a developer, where you can be able to go through a little wizard of like, okay, well, does this game have this, this, and this? And there's several accessibility tags. They're not the same accessibility tags as the Accessible Tags Initiative, which was created last year by the ESA, which, remember, ESA, Entertainment Software Association, they're the ones who used to run E3 every year. They partnered up with several major companies like Nintendo, Xbox, Ubisoft, EA, and Google, and they've basically came together to create these accessible tags that storefronts can use to identify, for developers can identify their games with accessibility, and they're universal across the board. Steam doesn't have the exact same tags. They kind of have a similar amount of different tags. They kind of went their own way, but they have their own list of accessible tags. And basically, it allows disabled players to take a look and see what the game might have if they're tagged correctly, and so they can be able to make their purchasing decisions or wish list decisions, depending on what they have. And so I don't necessarily knock the developers for not knowing the education aspect of it, which, if you're a game developer and you're watching this, you need to do that. If you're putting out a demo that has any type of settings, look through it to see if it matches any accessibility tag, because that is so super important for disabled players to know if this is going to be a game that is going to have at least something that they might make the game more comfortable. The reason why I'm upset with Steam is you can go through the Steam NextFest page, and you can filter games based on your own preference. You can filter games based on genre, based on how many, like what type of controllers that you can play with. You can do tags on features that are in the game, whether it's sort of like it's a roguelike, or it's puzzle, or it's like platformer, that kind of thing. And I may have got that confused with, but anyway, they have all these tags. You can filter out the search results of games that are included in the Steam NextFest. You know what's not included? Accessibility. You cannot filter any games based on accessibility tags. You can do pretty much everything else, except for accessibility tags. Even if you go in their search box on the Steam Next page or Steam Next Fest page and search accessibility, you can't bring up any games because there's no it's looking for the other tags. There are no other tags other than through the accessibility section. So I'm very sad about the fact that there is no, like, you have one of the biggest, Steam, you have the biggest event for indie games to promote their games. And there are definitely some games that are listed with accessibility tags that are on Steam Next Fest. There's actually a thread that I'm gonna, if I clip this out for YouTube, I'm gonna have it in the description. But I reposted this on Blue Sky that is run by, it's from the account Able to Play, which they are a site that basically allows you to be able to go to, find a game on their site, and they basically have a review score on accessibility based on your own disability, so you can kind of filter out that. It's a great place to be able to go check out what accessible games are out there. They curated a list. They've been curating a list of games that they find accessible from Steam Next Fest. That's been the only resource that I have found to be able to of games that have accessibility in, like, demos that have accessibility in them. Because you can't find them on the Steam site or even the Steam client, which, like, you could still go through and search, like, regularly on the search through the regular search engine on Steam, and you can search through you can filter through accessibility tags on that, and you can check off the box that says on sale. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're part of Steam Next Fest. And also, it doesn't if a game doesn't have those tags on there, but it has accessibility in the game, they won't show up in that filter. So if anyone at Steam is watching, or any developers are watching, if you're a developer, tag your demos with accessibility. Just look through the settings, go through that wizard that's on Steam. It's available to every developer right now to be able to include in your game. Take a look at your demo, see what settings are there, see if there's anything that matches up to the accessibility tags, and tag the dang demo on your Steam storefront page, because that'll help a lot of disabled players be able to find your game and potentially wishlist it. But if Steam is watching, please, for the next Steam Next Fest and any other fest or Steam sale that you have coming up that you want to create a special page or special site for, and you have all these filters for all types of games you can filter out of your own personal taste, include accessibility tags on there. Because otherwise, how are disabled players supposed to be able to enjoy the hype of Steam Next Fest or any other fest that Steam likes to run? That's my rant. That's my rant. I'm done.